former X Division champion and number 22 on PWP's Top 25 of 2022, Mike Bailey here, and you are listening to Pro Wrestling Proverbs with Logan and Anthony.
So all the way back in the year of our Lord 2021, right after we restarted this podcast again, that summer, our 7th episode in, we decided to make a podcast called Things We Hate Part 1. Because at the time, I felt like we would be more angry at a lot of stuff. But I guess we never really got around to making a Part 2. Until today.
I think we've mellowed. We've slowly become defenders of things as opposed to hating on it. I mean, granted, there's some things that we hate and that get us hot, but I guess we're not the atypical wrestling fan where it's just hate everything. I wish it was the good old days of the Attitude Era. You know, we defend some things, and I think a lot of this list, it will be things we hate, but we'll be defending the other side of it as well.
And for all the boomers out there, that say like, hate's a strong word, Logan. You should never hate anything. We'll release a PG version of this. These are things we strongly dislike. Okay. Yeah. Part 2. This is gonna be like a little bit of a ramble. So if you're into a podcast that's just two dudes rambling for a little while, this is the podcast for you. Well, I want to start off with Logan. Logan won't let me talk about it, so we gotta go on to the next thing.
Can I start with one?
I'm being censored over here. Just letting you guys know, I'm being oppressed by Big Logan. He won't let me talk about the real issues of this world.
Can I start with one?
Yeah, you can start with whatever since you're suppressing me.
So, we talked about it at great length on here before. We both collect wrestling figures. And I always enjoy seeing on Instagram when Ringside Collectibles or when the big Comic-Cons will share, like, the upcoming releases. Mm-hmm. And sometimes you'll get Legends figures that are just really cool, like when they first brought back Bruno Sammartino, or you'll get the different Legion of Doom setups with the different color shoulder pads, or when the Steiners got figures after being away from the company for so long. And it's awesome. But then I see that they released a figure of the Sultan, or the one time they did Mean Mark Callis, or they did Mighty Molly.
What are you talking about? Those are legends of our industry.
No. No. I don't want those.
What?
I don't think they should be in Legends sets. If you want to release like a special one, like, oh man, History of the Undertaker, here he is before the Undertaker. Like, the Sultan does not need it. Like, ooh, wow, he was Rikishi under a mask. Ooh, he was The Rock's first WrestleMania opponent. Who gives a shit? All right. And if you actually go out and you buy this Sultan figure, like, if I'm Rikishi and you bring this up to me at a table, I'm going to laugh at you. Because Bruce Pritchard and that's the part that bugs me the most, Bruce Pritchard brought up how the Sultan was created solely to be an opponent for The Rock at WrestleMania. No other reason. They just, the Rock was not over, The Rock was green, so they wanted to put him in the ring with someone that he was comfortable with, and a character where he'd be the ultimate babyface. So why does that need a figure?
Well, there's a lot of Sultan fans out there, I would assume.
No. There's so many people that... And I know you have to go over licensing and contracts, and... So that's why you don't see a lot of these. But... I mean, they just they're doing these from the vault sets now, and I hope and pray for there to be a Von Erich one in there. But until then, I guess we're gonna get such gems as the Sultan. Now, not all of them are bad. They've just done a Captain Lou Albano. They've done a couple Hogans. Just some of these figures, they're not needed. Or like the Rock pack that they have out now. Like, it's cool that Peter Maivia is in it. It's cool that Rocky Johnson's in it. Why do they have the Rock in flip-flops and a Hawaiian shirt? Stop it. Either let him be the Rock, or put him in his blue shit from when he debuted. I don't care about the Samoan heritage that they're trying to show with this. Because guess what? Rocky Johnson's not Samoan, so the Rock doesn't need to show that in the figure. It should just be them at their peaks, but instead they pick a stupid outfit for the Rock.
Do they have $1 million shirt Rock?
No, it's like a Hawaiian floral print and shorts and flip-flops. It's a stupid choice. It's a terrible choice. And like I said, not all the figures are bad that they release, but when ones like this happen, I just get irritated. Like, when I hear a Legends set is announced, I expect, the APA. I expect Kane, Undertaker, Bruno Sammartino, the Sultan, Mean Mark Calloway. Get out of here.
She's saying...
And I guess we're on the topic...
saying Lou Albano?
Of toys.
Okay.
Oh, no, I love that they came out with the Lou Albano one.
Yeah, you're saying he's better than the Sultan?
Oh, 100%.
Well?
I would kill 100 Sultans to bring back one Lou Albano.
Line them up.
Yep. But I guess as we're talking about toys and stuff, we might as well talk about video games too, right? And you brought it up beforehand that we've actually defended Fight Forever before.
Yeah.
It recently, this month, was made a PlayStation Plus game, so it was free. So I decided to check it out. It gives me Here Comes the Pain vibes.
At the time, I think you literally said that in the podcast we did, because we did a podcast defending Fight Forever.
Yeah.
And I think that was our whole argument at the time. So I don't even think the game was out when we said that, or it might have just came out, and people were already hating on it because of the graphics and whatnot, and the gameplay was a little bit more arcadey than 2K. And I think that's what you found out. You played it more than I have. I just started up, and I was in the middle of creating a character for the Road to the Elite game mode.
Yeah.
And then but I had to step away, and I haven't been able to go back to it yet. But tell me what your thoughts were.
It's definitely arcadey, which I like that vibe. I think it makes perfect sense for it to have a more arcade vibe, because if you want to be a competitor to WWE, you're going to be the opposite of what the WWE is. And the WWE games are very realistic. They might have glitches here or there, but it tries to give you what wrestling is. It's more arcadey. This is more a fan service game. I made a character. I was a little upset that neither Logan nor Keith were able to be said by the ring announcer.
My last name isn't on there either, but they have... I noticed that too. If you're going through it, there's names of wrestlers that are not in the game or even under contract with them. Like, they have Seth Rollins is one for sure. What was another one they
have? They have a lot.
They have Natalia.
Hogan. They have Hogan on there.
Yeah.
Well, and it's funny, too, because you brought up Natalia. One of the entrance themes you can get is the Pink and Black attack. And I know that's because Bret Hart made one appearance for him, but still, it's just crazy to me. There's a lot of fan service. The finishing moves, there's a lot of tongue-in-cheek names. Like you said, there's a lot of names in the ring announcer. And I'm sure, like I said, this would make sense to me if the creator wrestler mode was a little bit better, a little more detailed.
Because there's not a lot of options.
No.
I literally, since I couldn't make myself, I was like, okay, I'll make a generic character. So I think my guy's named right now is El Gringo, and I'm making him an American luchador, and that's that's an oxymoron. But
I made PWP, and I had us come out in some suits, and I really went into the gimmick. I think I'm a saint and you're priestly, just because I thought that flowed better with your names. And like I said, I don't. Logan's not on there, so it's when I come out, you hear Saint Hogan, but because the music, you can't necessarily hear it, but I know it's there. Like the gameplay, it does. It reminds me of Here Comes the Pain. It's also a little bit of like a No Mercy WCW Mayhem, because it's very arcadey. But I think anyone could pick this game up and learn it and not get upset. I mentioned it on our 2K or our WWE game tier list that I kind of stepped away from the WWE games after 18, except for playing them with my brother every so often. Going into those new ones, to me, it's like whiplash. Having to learn just some of the button combos, some of the reversal things, especially compared to the old games. This one, I picked it up. I knew right what it was. The only complaint I've had with the game is I did a tag team match with, I think it was myself and Sting, because it was before I made you, and Sting got super kicked by one of the Young Bucks when I was fighting the other Young Buck, and that was right as Sting got tagged in. Took a super kick, and then he was just done. 1, 2, 3. I didn't think to try and break the pin up. I'm just like, it'll be fine. And then he lost! So, but no, it's a fun game. I don't know why people hate on it. I understand that, the cons are funding it, and it's THQ, but do people not remember what the 2K games were like when WWE first partnered with 2K? Or even like we mentioned on the tier list, how Just Bring It was a good game, but it wasn't as great as Shut Your Mouth or Here Comes the Pain. Like, you're not going to knock it out of the park in the first game.
Yeah. Well, have you
have they
announced any more games coming, like big, like AAA style games? I know they release mobile games all the time.
Yeah. They keep adding DLC to this as well. They'll have different season passes. And it gets me interested, because I definitely want the revival. I definitely want Samoa Joe. I don't really need Matt Hardy. I'd like Adam Copeland. Like, it goes back and forth on which ones I'd want, which ones I'd get. And it was fairly easy to get Cody Rhodes. You have these in-game dollars, and you can buy people from a shop, and I bought him, like, within an hour. Which I thought they'd make it super hard to get him. So good for them for not being petty on that. But yeah, I just don't understand the hate for this. Maybe, like I said, maybe I've gotten too mellow. Maybe I've gotten too nice. But it's a fine game. Do I wish there was like 6-man tags? Yeah. Do I wish that some of the weapons you can have weren't so corny? A little bit. But it goes with the arcade style. I mean, it's a fun game, and like I said, I think anyone could pick it up. Kind of like I said, like I thought the same thing about SmackDown Here Comes the Pain. I think it's something you'll definitely enjoy.
Yeah, I'm excited to start playing it. I have some time tomorrow before I head into work. I might actually try to start that. What's it called? Road to the Elite mode.
Yeah. Now, I guess this does give a little teaser. We recently were given a Steam key for Retromania Wrestling. So make sure you watch our socials and our YouTube page within the coming weeks, and we should have some reviews and maybe even some gameplay.
Yeah, Logan's going to play it for us. He's going to give us a very detailed review. We'll be like IGN over here.
Yeah, I'm excited because the Legion of Doom's on it. I mean, that's a big selling point for me.
It's already a 9 out of 10.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
So, I think
I'm excited, but yeah, just
the review might be a little biased.
just watch our socials, watch our YouTube, and then thank you to those that sent it to us, being our first video game code, video game key that we've gotten here at the channel, and maybe this will be the start of others.
Yeah, next thing you know, we're getting flown out to 2K Studios, and we're playing the next 2K game early. How about that?
Oof.
Probably not.
Ooh.
But,
Goosebumps.
oh,
Goosebumps.
Are you the Rock at the top of the stage right now, pointing to your forearm? Yeah.
I'm home. Goosebumps.
I'm home. That's what you do when you walk through the door at 2K.
I'm home.
I'm home. Finally, Logan has come home. Then they just
Now in the wrestling landscape, you wanna know where I always felt at home?
Ring of Honor.
Ring of Honor events.
Yeah.
And I'm sure I sound like a
Your
broken
bachelor party
record.
was at a Ring of Honor event.
Yeah,
Yes, it was.
it was.
That was a
I'm
good
sure I
time.
sound like a broken record. I loved Ring of Honor. It's just so fun. I'll be the first to admit, at wrestling events, at concerts, I don't tend to react. I will sit there, I'll be in the moment, I'll take my pictures, I'll record my stuff, but I don't usually clap. I don't usually cheer. I know it made my brother a little excited at the Ric Flair last match, how much I was into it with the Von Erichs and Ric Flair. But I tend to just kind of stand back and just absorb the atmosphere. Ring of Honor events were a different story. I loved the atmosphere. I have a feeling I would have loved ECW shows because from what I've heard, the crowd's just the same, just as wild. I loved cheering with the crowds. I remember one with BJ Whitmer. We chanted "Blowjob Whitmer." I remember booing when Adam Page joined the Bullet Club and became the Hangman. My buddy and I, Barry, were at that show. That was a crazy moment. But just the atmosphere is just there, and like we discussed beforehand, sometimes people would just come from behind the curtain and watch from the crowd. At my bachelor party, there's a couple individuals, Cheeseburger being one of them. I kind of popped out and watched. Colt Cabana walked right by us. It's just a different atmosphere, super fun. I've went to probably 5 or 6 shows, and I no complaints about any of them.
I only went to one.
I don't think we're ever gonna get anything like that back.
No, especially not now with.
You said it. Yeah. You said it best. They are very commercialized. Makes me sad. I know this is another one we did a podcast on before. I didn't have the highest of hopes. You tried convincing me that maybe Tony Khan would do something with it. Granted, he's signed some people and he's gotten them contracts so that way they're not unemployed. And I mean, there's been a couple decent Ring of Honor feuds that have bled onto AEW TV. But I just still am not impressed. Like, cool, Mark Briscoe finally got a heavyweight title. But I don't think that would have happened if Jay hadn't died tragically.
Like, I don't know about you.
And,
I could be wrong, right? Because you're more of the Ring of Honor guy than me. I just don't think, when I think of Ring of Honor, I don't think of, like, LED boards. And, like, traditional arenas.
Usually, if anything happened like that, it'd be a really big show. But even then, Ring of Honor didn't save big events for the really big shows. Like I said, I watched in Dearborn, in a little gymnasium, Adam Page joined the Bullet Club. I watched, I want to say it was in the same gymnasium, Kevin Owens wrestle his last Ring of Honor match against Steve Corino. It's just different. It's AEW light now, and there's nothing wrong with that. It's just it's kind of like WWE ECW was. If you take the ECW name out of it, it wasn't a bad show. you had your young up and coming talent, you had your veterans, so that way they had a spot to kind of either relearn their craft or learn a new gimmick so they could go on to the big league or the Raw and SmackDown. Same thing here. Like a big one that jumps out to me is Johnny TV, the former Johnny Mundo, John Morrison.
Yeah.
Him and his wife, Ty Valkyrie, the gimmick they're doing in Ring of Honor right now, they're honing that craft for AEW TV, which is all fine. And then you're getting some people like Fletcher in Ring of Honor. So that way, when it's time, they can go to AEW. Or, like for Samoa Joe, I think they had him sitting there as champion for so long. That way, once a feud opened up for him in AEW, he could just jump there. But he wasn't doing nothing. And it's all fine and good, but that's not Ring of Honor.
No.
And I really wish there was more to it. And I wish Kerry Silkin or even Jeff Jarrett could have the company and make it Ring of Honor. But I think at this point it's just a tape library for Tony Khan. And
yeah, but they're not using the tape library. They have no streaming service yet.
That's if they put out a Ring of Honor one, and I've said this before. If I were to get a Ring of Honor streaming service, or even a TNA one that had their weekly and monthly pay-per-views, I would pay for it.
Is Honor Club not?
Yeah, the Honor Club's. I don't know. I used to be a part of it, but it just. I don't know. Where's all the people that were telling me on social media that Tony Khan's gonna love Ring of Honor and cherish it and keep everything the same?
They have a TV archive up here. Let me see.
The only cool part about Ring of Honor now is every so often you'll get like Christopher Daniels or Jimmy Jacobs, so the producers for AEW or higher up like Daniels is, and they'll come out and wrestle a match. Which that's cool, that's fine, that's dandy. But I don't know.
It's like Honor Club's still.
It's like we talked,
but I don't know.
It's like we talked about before we recorded. Ring of Honor is essentially a spot where Tony Khan sends people so that way they can continue wrestling and have a feud until he needs them on AEW TV.
Yeah. And they're literally just doing the fucking tapings at AEW. Like, this is the AEW stage. Like, that's not... Run to different buildings.
Yeah, I never understood why they created Rampage or Collision, and they could have just had Ring of Honor as the other show. Like, call it AEW's Ring of Honor. But that's beside the point. I don't think Ring of Honor will ever truly come back. If it does, I'll be one of the first people there. Well, but as
we originally brought this up before we started recording, something to talk about. We were comparing it to ECW after like One Night Stand when WWE brought it back. Like,
yeah,
it was just a soulless thing, and I'm not gonna say that like this Ring of Honor is anywhere near as dreadful as WWE ECW. I don't think that's even close. I still think Ring of Honor has a good television product. I think it's still fairly good. It's just not what we want from Ring of Honor.
No, and it's like I said too.
The soul of Ring of Honor isn't there anymore. I think that's what we're
WWE ECW for the hour that they were given, except for like that 6-month period after Paul Heyman left. The time before and the time after that, it was good. It was a little bit of wrestling, and it would help, like I said, veterans and young talents. But it wasn't ECW. So had they called it literally anything else, I think it would be looked at in a more positive light. I don't think Ring of Honor is at that point yet, but I think eventually fans are going to look at this AEW era of Ring of Honor as just a negative time period in the timeline. like I said too, every so often there'll be something cool that'll happen, like Mark Briscoe winning the heavyweight title, but it's almost a little too late, which is funny because WWE ECW did the same thing with Tommy Dreamer, the ECW title. They put it on him, and it was a cool moment, but it was just a little too late. I hope there's an indie promotion that kind of picks up Ring of Honor left off. I know the GCWs and the MLWs, which I'm sure people get upset them calling them indie promotions, but the two of those, I mean, they're picking up and they're having a great indie run. Hopefully, they travel across the states. I will say the Ric Flair's last match show felt like a Ring of Honor show. Crowd was into everything. There's high spots. There's good wrestling. There's everything for everyone. That's just what we need. Ring of Honor is always that shining light that people. You never really heard anyone hate on it. You know, wrestling fans could kind of agree. Oh, this is good shit. But now you have your WWEs and your AEWs and your TNAs and your NXTs, and people just seem just to find something to hate in all of it.
Yeah. And, and it's hard to blame them because it seems like the wrestling we grew up on, like that, at least that look, that atmosphere is long gone and it's never coming back.
Yeah.
And it's hard for some people to come to grips with that. Because, like, I think actually, like, Raw and SmackDown are kind of reversing it a little bit. They're not as, like, bright and like hard to look at with, like, the LED monitor screens everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Except for the fucking WrestleMania this past year. Oh, my God. Like, I don't mind the Prime logo in the ring. I see a lot of people shitting on them having the ads in the ring. That didn't bother me as much. What bothered me was the bright ass white, it was either white or like a light blue American Home Shield campaign during that. I forget what match it was.
Oh yeah,
and it was on every screen and on the shot, and it was bright as fuck, and it was distracting. Like you could barely like pay attention to what was going on. I hate stuff like that, but I think weekly television it's not as overproduced anymore. But everywhere else, like AEW, that's just their color scheme, though. It's super bright and colorful. Yep. They just need to turn the lights down a little bit. Same thing with what we were just talking with Ring of Honor. Too much production going on there for a Ring of Honor.
It's too pretty.
Too pretty. It's supposed to be ugly. I like ugly wrestling, and I can say the same stuff about a lot of things, not even just wrestling, like football today. I hate like these football players, especially like non-professional players, like wearing what the kids call drip. You know, they got the drip going on.
Oh, yep.
I gotta wear turf tape. It doesn't matter if we're playing on turf or not. If we're playing on natural grass, so I gotta put my turf tape on because it looks drippy, and I got my 3-colored visor and all this other dumb shit. And I don't know. When we grew up, it was just like, all right, there's a neck roll and a bucket helmet and a washcloth for a towel, and that was drip. Dude, that was awesome. The same thing's going on with wrestling now. You know, just what happened to like the steel barricades and like the couple lights up in the rafters and like pyro was a big deal. Now everybody's got fucking fireworks coming out their ass.
Yeah, for a while WWE stopped that, and now it seems that they're holding the pyro for important people. And I think pyro started coming back kind of when Cody came back, but I think that's also aligned with when Vince left.
Around.
So I don't know which one had more of an I don't know which one had more of an influence on that. Because I'm sure Vince, he needed some money saved within the company, so that way, you know, could make a few financial transactions himself. But I know Cody's also an advocate for pyro, and it seems Triple H is listening to Cody a lot when it comes to ideas behind the scenes. So it'll be interesting to see where that goes. But I brought the man up earlier. I'll keep this short and sweet. If you're legitimately defending Vince McMahon, I want you to walk out your front door, find the nearest road that has a lot of traffic, and play in it.
Yes.
Like, I don't understand how, whether you've listened to us read about the lawsuit, whether you've read about the lawsuit, whether you've seen people talk about him on social media, I don't understand how you can defend him. Like, yeah, he did some cool stuff on TV, and he revolutionized pro wrestling, and he revolutionized ads and pay-per-views. But he's a piece of shit.
Massive. He's being investigated by the Department of Justice, so his current lawsuit's on hold.
I can't wait for him to just get thrown into a cell and a key thrown away.
I think that'll be a great thing for us to cover early next year when the Janelle Grant lawsuit picks up, because it doesn't sound like they're gonna settle or anything. They might air out all the dirty laundry. So
yeah, I just don't understand how people can defend him.
That'll be like our Trump trial.
Yeah,
that'd be awesome, actually, content wise. Oh my god.
But I guess if we're talking about one dirty old man, let's move on to the other one.
If this guy's ever on trial, we're for sure covering it. Me and you will go to the courthouse wherever he's at. If he's ever in legal peril, we'll be there. We'll be outside covering it, trying to get an inside scoop.
So I love Ric Flair. We've talked about this at length. That's why we went to the Ric Flair last match. Like, yeah, it was for my brother's birthday, and we had to meet all these people, and it was a big thing. But Ric Flair's last match, like, the convention was more for my brother. But the pay-per-view and match itself, that was for me. Like I said, we started, I don't know if when we talked about it, if you remember, we started out behind the last row of chairs, watching it. By the time the confetti was falling and Ric Flair was trying to live and celebrate his victory, I was up by the steel barricade. Like, I had slowly wiggled my way to the front.
I did not have the same experience, but
yeah, I loved Flair. I have a section on my shelf dedicated to Flair. He is on my Mount Rushmore, and he should be on yours for pro wrestling. Not just you, Anthony, but everyone in general. Should be, realistically, for pro wrestling. As a person, though, terrible. Simply terrible. We talked about this a little bit before, about his outburst at the restaurant. Him talking about, like, the pens in an ad. I don't know what happened. I don't know if it's because he doesn't have that Vince McMahon filter to be like, hey, Rick, stop.
Well, I don't think we have to have videos of Vince McMahon clearly intoxicated in public like we do him, so.
Well, and that's the thing, and it wasn't just now, right? The first time he got let go? Second time he got let go? Second time he left? I don't know, the SummerSlam thing, when he was drunk on stage and got Jim Ross canned. It all kind of starts with that, and he's continued to make mistake after mistake. And recently because that Who Killed WCW documentary came out, or the first episode came out, and he put on blast how, and I'm not disagreeing with him, Vince Russo was awful. Vince Russo brought us a lot of stupid fucking ideas that put the final nail in the coffin. Eric Bischoff was awful, but it's because he wasn't a wrestling guy. The man started out as the C announcer for the AWA, and he slowly climbed up because everyone else left. And then he was able to go to WCW, and because everyone else left, get that position. Nothing against Eric, he had some good ideas.
Yeah.
He shouldn't have been running a wrestling company. And then Ric Flair also called out Jim Herd, because Jim Herd's the guy who wanted to shave Ric Flair's head, put an earring on him, and call him Spartacus. And this was the late 80s, early 90s. Ric Flair had been wrestling for 10, 15 years. Multiple world titles, multiple U.S. titles. Jim Herd's a fucking idiot. But Ric Flair put all this out there, and then apparently he watched it, or someone called him out, and he talked about how he wished he would have known more about the behind the scenes of WCW. Which, come on, you were one of the top guys. You were a booker for many years. You had to have known. You're just upset because you got called out and you want to be booked on everyone's podcast because AEW brought you on and you thought this was going to be your career renaissance, but all it was to use your stupid energy drink. And now that Sting's off TV, you're not doing dick. You should have stuck with WWE so that way every so often when Charlotte returns, you could introduce her or be backstage to hug her. But instead, you're now in AEW floundering. And the NWA doesn't want to work with you. WWE's pretty much done with you. I don't think TNA wants to work with you anymore. So this is it, Rick. So you better stop yelling at restaurant workers and stop going on tangents on Twitter toward Vince Russo, Dutch Mantel, whoever. And just gotta sit there and be a good boy. Alright? You still have fans. I'm still a fan. But, Rick, it's getting hard.
Yeah, so this is probably his last shot here. Because he signed a multi-year deal with AEW.
Until Evolution goes in the Hall of Fame.
Well, that's if Evolution goes in the Hall of Fame. While he's still in AEW, he might not be able to go there.
Well, that'd be kind of funny, because when Four Horsemen in the Hall of Fame, he was signed to Impact. But,
how that works.
Yeah, I enjoy him. There's some snafus with our StarCast trip, but damn it, I still met him. Still watched his last match. The event the whole weekend was a highlight. I don't want him to die and his career just be this shell of what it should be. Do I think he should manage people? No. I don't know what he should do, but he just needs to get off X.
Well, he's just taking after his boss.
No kidding. Luckily, though, their likes, if they like anything a little risque, X has removed the ability to see likes.
Yeah, that kind of brings the Dapper onto one of my favorite time-killing activities. Whether it's on in the bathroom or on break at work, or just killing time at the doctor's office.
Horny Jim Ross.
Just going to Jim Ross. This is my favorite game to play. Go to Jim Ross, go to his likes, or before I get there, I think of a number. Let's say 7.5. Then I do over or under how many posts do I have to scroll through in his likes till I get to a horny Jim Ross post or like.
See, it's funny. It's funny because I know he did that, but also Mark Henry was pretty notorious for that. But it wouldn't be all women. It was mostly Xia Li. I don't know if you remember that. Whenever she posts a workout, whenever she do a workout, he'd get it, girl. Those two, And you know the difference is Jim Ross, people would be like, ooh, you're just a gross old man. But Mark Henry, they'd be like, ha, it's sexual chocolate.
Well, according to some reports, Jim Ross isn't just a dirty old man. He is...
Oh, I saw... Yeah.
I think I sent it to you. He was actually getting some action after his...
With Missy Hyatt.
Yeah, after his wife unfortunately passed away. He didn't take
I believe the
long.
quote was, he rocked her world.
Yeah, I know I sent it to you. I'm going to see if I can pull it up real quick. It was a funny...
Which...
I think I sent it to you and our good friend Zion.
I'm assuming that there's more movement in his bedroom action than his face, right?
No comment. Maybe I just sent it to you.
Sassafras.
Oh yeah, right here.
You think that's what he says when he comes?
Oh no, not this. Oh no. Hold on. Close that out. I didn't click on it. Why is it? No. Get out of here.
Do you think that's what he says when he comes, though? You think he's just getting ready and then... Sassafras!
Slobber knocker.
You're beating me like a government mule.
I'm gonna beat that pussy like a stuffed pig. God damn.
It's kind of funny that he's the horny one, considering for years he had to tell Jerry Lawler to tone it down.
Well, Jerry Lawler, that can't take away from Jerry Lawler's pervertedness either. I think his girlfriend just graduated high school this year. I'm not even kidding. Well, doesn't he have a girlfriend? What's Lauren McBride?
Oh, is she like?
They've been wow, together for a while. Looks like.
Wow.
Let me see. Oh, there's a picture of both of their mugshots. Nice. That could be.
Well, you said mugshot.
No, that could be. So, Jeff Hardy.
Yep. We might as well roll into it.
I'll
let you take this one because I don't have a problem with Jeff Hardy, except the fact that had he been at StarCast, I wouldn't have had to pay extra money at WrestleCon for my brother to meet him.
Well, besides the point, we should do a tier list of wrestler mugshots.
Mugshots. I like that.
All right,
there's a lot of them too.
We'll make a note of it. Yeah, I'm just. I see people getting excited that fucking Jeff Hardy might go to TNA. Like, why the fuck do I care? Like, why would I care what Jeff Hardy is fucking doing? Anything in the year 2024. I didn't like him even at his peak, really. I didn't really. Not to quote one of our good buddies, IRL. I just don't get the hype around Shinsuke Nakamura. I mean, Jeff Hardy. He's just not.
So
he's okay, go ahead.
A couple of years ago, I would disagree with you. Now, I mean, yeah, he's not what he once was. He can't do all his flips. He kind of seems like it almost seems like he's there to collect a paycheck. Like Matt Hardy is trying his damnedest. He's got all these characters, and he's like, "Oh man, if Broken Matt doesn't work, I'll be Big Money Matt, and if that doesn't work, then I'll be Team Extreme Matt Hardy, and if that doesn't work, I'll just be regular Matt Hardy." And he's like, "I please give me a job." While Jeff Hardy's like, "Oh."
I think Jeff Hardy
sing songs.
Jeff Hardy, yeah, he just wants to be a fucking musician, but he's not good enough to actually make money at it. So he
wants to be an artist too, because he has the paintings, the speed paintings he does.
Yeah, they all suck.
And all right, so do you think those AEW storyline? Do you think those AEW storylines where they said that it was story that he would like fall off the turnbuckle? Do you think that was a story, or do you think he fell off and they tried to just cover it up?
I want to be cynical and say that he just fell off, but I have no idea.
Because it's funny to me that it's funny to me that AEW and WWE, right? So the reason that Jeff Hardy could show up in Impact this weekend is because his contract's up. Well, he had all that time where he was hurt, and normally WWE or AEW would extend the contract. But it almost doesn't seem like AEW is going to do that. And to me, that speaks volumes, right? This guy's a former WWE champion. He's a multiple-time tag champion. He revolutionized TLC and ladder match. Like, you'd think, normally, AEW would extend the contract. I just don't think... If Tony Khan doesn't see any worth in you, do you have worth?
What's his purpose? You know, like, what has he done recently to make me care about what he's doing?
Yeah, I don't even think he's jumped off a ladder in AEW. I know they weren't they supposed.
Not even that. Like character wise, like why should I care about Jeff Hardy the wrestler? Well, he paints his face weird. He's different.
Well, because
he's cool. He's a charismatic enigma.
Because he's
not
2000
charismatic.
Sting.
He's about as charismatic as a saltine cracker.
Yeah, he's 2000 Sting. He yells. He paints his face. He has a couple moves, and everyone loves him.
Is he a good singer? Let's find out.
And outside the plasma sphere, it's new infused.
Wow,
I see
great.
angels
Plasma Sphere, upcoming music. He's in Atlantic City, July 13th, everybody, if you want to go.
This feels surreal.
Yeah, you've never been a fan of Jeff Hardy.
I like this comment. I feel sorry for the fish and frogs, whatever Paul's souls are in that pond. He's for, well, this is an audio podcast. He's sitting in front of a pond at his home, I am assuming, just singing into the woods.
Like I said, it makes you feel bad for Matt Hardy, because Matt Hardy, you can tell he tries, right? When he debuted in AEW, he had the drone. When he came to Impact, it was a big deal. I'm sure when he shows up in NXT for the Battle Royal, it's going to be a big deal. Jeff Hardy can show up and do that JoJo Siwa shake, and everyone cheers for him.
JoJo Siwa has more fucking talent in her pinky, music-wise, than Jeff Hardy does.
Yeah, I'm hoping that all
And
this
charisma.
time off, maybe he'll get back to his old self. I know he's done a lot of really good things in TNA. He had 2 real good runs in TNA. The first one, 2003, 2004, is when he went there. He had some good matches with AJ Styles. He actually teamed with Randy Savage. Revolutionized his career. Then when he left WWE again, and he showed up and he got to work with Matt, and he was the lead of Immortal. It was some good stuff. I hope the best for him. He's just another example of me getting angry that people defend him with all his DUIs, but it's because they like him.
Yeah.
You know, if they didn't like him, they'd be all over him. But
If there's no more Jeff Hardy haters on this earth, then I have died. I'll just throw that.
We've talked about TNA a lot recently with some of these people, some of these hatreds. I don't understand why social media is hating on the TNA NXT partnership. Everyone keeps bringing up ratings and what AEW did when they were teaming with TNA. So if you exclude ratings, which this is kind of when AEW was at its peak, so of course it's going to help TNA more. All AEW did was Kenny Omega won the TNA title, and he dropped it to Christian because he didn't want to drop it to a TNA guy. And then Christian ended up losing it later. Nothing else. No one really got over with it. Yeah, sure, ratings might have peaked, whatever. Who gives a shit? NXT right now, NXT TNA. You're giving Jordan Grace a larger platform. This Battle Royal coming up, you don't know who could show up. I'm excited because we could get Ethan Page versus Josh Alexander, a Battle of the North. And it almost seems like Triple H and Shawn Michaels want to keep this relationship going. I would find it funny if when Scott D'Amore comes back, because whoever fired him from TNA, I hate you. Is one of the better things that TNA had going for it, and he was bringing people in, and they complained that he was spending money. You got to spend money to make money. TNA was at a high point, but I think when he's finally off his Pete clause in his contract, I think he'll end up in NXT solely to work with the TNA people. The TNA and NXT, both of them are kind of platforms for the bigger stage, so it's a perfect relationship. I'm excited to see who else shows up in NXT. I'm excited to see who shows up in TNA. And I mean,
I just like it
for those, I know
I think it's kind of like a shot at Tony Khan, I guess. Then again, I'm not saying it because I hate. I'm not like an AEW hater. I don't hate Tony Khan, and I could care less. But I just remember TNA. The reports are coming out they had a not so great relationship towards the end of their partnership. So
yeah,
I'm thinking they're just going to WWE and just giving them a big FU. Like, okay, we'll go work with these guys then. Now that AW is kind of like down on their luck, like ratings wise. something
So exciting
something
because
AEW
just
could have had.
some of the people on the roster. I mean, they've got Ace Austin, they've got the former Dana Brooke, Ash by Elegance, they've got Chris Bay, they've got Crazy Steve, Eddie Edwards, Eric Young. It'd be interesting to see if we get a somewhat reunion. Oh God, I don't even remember the team name. Eric Young's team at NXT. Him and Nikki Cross and Alexander Wolf and Killian Dane. Insanity.
Yeah.
Insanity? Yeah, it'd be cool to see them show up. Kazarian being on NXT. Hammerstone was recently signed to TNA. It'd be great to see him brawl with some of the people. Jake something, Joe Hendry, Josh Alexander, Jordan Grace, Kushida, Matt Hardy, the former Connor from the Ascension. He was the big guy that had talent. Our friend of the show, speak about Mike Bailey, Mike Santana, Moose, Ali, Nick Nemeth, Rhino, Rich Swann, Sammy Callahan. Let's see if I keep. There's Trey Miguel and Zachary Wentz, even Trent Seven, and I think it'll be interesting too because they could totally do a TNA invasion, which I know the word invasion doesn't give people great feelings.
Nope.
But think of the people that are
door.
Well, I'm just thinking they could have an invasion of people that WWE kind of let down, and now they're thriving in TNA. Ash by Elegance, Brian Myers, Dirty Dango, Eric Young, Matt Hardy, Kushida, Connor, even Nemeth and Ali, Rich Swann, Santino Marella, Trent Seven, The Rascal. Like, they're all people, even Steve Macklin, they're all people that WWE had. It didn't work out, and now they're in Impact doing well. It's just, there's a lot they could do. I'm excited to see more crossovers. I hope it's a long-term partnership.
Well, at time of recording next week, they do have that big battle royal coming up. Rumors Matt Hardy will be there, right? I think you said that.
Yes. Yep.
I feel like people are saying this Joe Hendry character could show up at Clash of the Castle for some reason. I think that's kind of a long shot, right? Or
they think he'll show up. So they're thinking he could show up there because he's from the area and he's super over right now on the internet, on iTunes, everywhere. I think there's as much chance of him showing up there as remember when Grado showed up for AEW?
If I saw the clip.
Like, everyone wanted Grado to come out. He's the guy who comes out to Madonna, and he had a little interaction with Jeff Jarrett. I think it's kind of the same thing. I would love to see Joe Hendry there, especially because now his manager is Ace Steel, the guy who bit people in AEW. I just think it'd be funny to have him interact with CM Punk. But I just don't understand the hate for it. Like what? Why is it that because two companies are working together well, and it seems to be benefiting them, that people just have to instantly hate it?
Because it's not what they want, Logan.
Oh, I even left out Jonathan Gresham. I mean, there's so much talent on the Impact roster, and there's so much talent on the NXT roster. Like, could you imagine Braun Breaker versus Hammerstone? Just take my money. Right, and maybe this is the way.
Hammerstone needs to come and sign and work for WWE. Work for the fans.
People for years have wanted Cardona to show back up in WWE, right? This would be the easiest way since he's with Impact. There's just a lot they could do. I'm excited. I don't think I've been excited for a crossover. I was shocked when Jordan Grace showed up on NXT, and her and Roxanne Perez are two of my favorites, so to see them be able to brawl it out. None of the positives for me. Everyone who's comparing it to ratings and to what AEW and Impact did, and look at what they did for Impact, and look at all WWE's doing. Fuck off. And again, whoever fired Scott D'Amore after everything he did with Impact, fuck off.
It should be an interesting weekend or a couple weeks here with WWE and TNA. Another big thing developing here, at least on WWE television, is the pending debut of Uncle Howdy and
Oh
his
yeah.
little faction group thing going on.
Just when we thought we were gonna be done talking about Bray Wyatt, here comes Uncle Howdy.
Yeah. And I would have more faith in this new incarnation if Bray Wyatt was still alive and in charge of it. But
Oh yeah.
I'm not. Is it taboo for me to say I'm not excited for this at all? Am I the
I
only
think
one?
I think to say at all is a little taboo. I think there's definitely chances for it to work.
I know this is what's
but-
going to happen. I'll lay it out here now, and then when it happens, I'm going to post it on our socials and say I was right. So date was today, the June 13th, 14th, June
14th, yep.
Well, it's just past midnight, so June 14th, 2023. The debut of Uncle Howdy and his faction will be great. It's going to get holy shit chance. Everyone's going to freak out online on Twitter like they should. It'll probably be really cool and well done because this is the only thing they've been thinking about for the past 6 months. So they'll knock it out of the park. But about 2 months after that, when they're in a storyline that's not really going anywhere with somebody that has no heat, people are not going to care anymore. And it's going to be... They're only going to care because of Bray Wyatt's legacy. And that's fine. That's fine. You can be happy that Bo Dallas gets to honor his brother. I think that's awesome, too. But I think it's not going to be very interesting. I think the Uncle Howdy character and the group will probably be gone by Mania this year. I don't think they'll make it to Mania.
So I think the Uncle Howdy character is shit, and I think it's been shit. If they wanted to do a stable of the Wyatt Six, I think you do just that. I think the way you have them debut without Uncle Howdy is have the door at the top of the stage again, right? Have the door open. Have there just be the smoke, no Bray Wyatt. And then have them each stand in their respective spots where they were when he re-debuted. So that way it's like them, and then they could say this is how it should have been. We weren't allowed to come out. As you said, with Bray Wyatt's backing, you think it'd be better. I don't necessarily think that.
Well,
I think Bray Wyatt was super smart.
I think it would have more direction. I feel like I just can't shake this feeling that they have like this great introduction planned out, and maybe like the first couple weeks of where it's going to go and how to be presented. But after that, what? Who are they gonna go after? Like, they gonna feud with Cody? Like, Cody's not gonna drop the belt to Uncle Howdy, right? The world heavyweight title is gonna be tied up with Drew and Punk probably, and they don't even really need to go after a world title though either. But are they go after LA Knight again? That's what I think killed the characters in the first place. I don't think they have anything planned out.
They don't need a world title. Now, I do think going after LA Knight would make sense because that was the last person Bray feuded with. I do think Cody makes sense because he was his NXT mentor. But as long as they mentioned those little tidbits and they just don't have him feud with them. My problem with this is you said you don't think they'll give Uncle Howdy a heavyweight title. I don't think they should. Do I think that sappy fucking Paul Levesque is gonna be like, oh, I loved Bray, and I love his dad, and I love his uncle, and yeah, let's give him a title. And I'm sorry, but if Uncle Howdy was some, like, unknown guy, maybe, but knowing that that's Bo Dallas under there, maybe if this was right after he left NXT, I could put a heavyweight title on him. But after knowing about the Bo Leave and the Social Outcast and the B Team, get out of here. He's not a heavyweight title contender. No matter how many stupid masks you put on him, he's not. And if WWE does that, I'll be upset. The other thing that I'm not looking forward to is, since they're honoring Bray's memory, they're not going to be heels.
Yeah, they're gonna be cheered. They're gonna act like
Yeah, they're
heels,
gonna
but
be.
nobody's gonna boo the character that was created by somebody that passed away early.
I don't even think they're gonna portray him as heels. I'm nervous that it's gonna be a Dark Order situation.
Well, they're probably gonna
Where
be
after
jumping people. That's pretty heelish. They're probably gonna debut and jump somebody. I don't know who. Like I'm just keep throwing LA Knight out there because he was like their last feud.
See, I'm nervous that they're not gonna have them jump them. They're gonna have them be like vigilantes. Like, oh, we were sent by Bray to, we saw that this guy he's not being nice, and Bray didn't like that, so Bray sent us to help take him out. But that's the other thing, right? So even if they do feud with Cody, or even if they do feud with LA Knight, there's gonna be rumored 6 to 7 of them. So if they feud with this one guy, if they win the feud, hooray, you beat one guy. But if they lose, you lost to one guy, you fucking idiots. And it's where I keep going back to the Dark Order. Like, the Dark Order ended up... And it was fine. It was a tribute to Brody Lee. His son got to be involved. But besides that, what was there? It was a joke. They didn't get to do anything. None of the people in it. I think that's the only thing that this will have going for it, is the Dark Order did not have anyone besides Colt Cabana that was seen as not even a threat. Threat's not a word I want. Realistic, I guess. But at least this, if Dexter Lumis is there, he looks the part. If Rowan and Strowman somehow get involved in it, they could be a dominating tag team. This will give Joe Gacy some legs. I don't think they'll have him be heels. I would love for them to be heels. But yeah, no one will boo it. And then so even if they start off as heels, Triple H will hear that, and they're good guys now. They're just going to be there for marketing. They're going to be there for merchandising. Congrats, Bo Dallas. You just got another year in your wrestling career. I think if he really wanted to honor his brother, they should just ditch the Uncle Howdy thing and have him be Wyndham Rotunda. And he can come out wearing the black glove like his grandpa used to have. He can have the cowboy boots like Bray and Barry Windham used to wear. He doesn't need a world title. But he could still represent the family. I don't think Uncle Howdy is very good. I don't think Uncle Howdy's needed. I don't know what they're waiting on, to be honest. And like I said, if they do go after Cody, it's going to make them look weak as shit that it takes all of them to take down one guy.
Well, I don't know if you've seen that. Apparently there's something, a QR code or something, I don't know. And it had a countdown to this upcoming Monday Night Raw. So the debut might be sooner than we think. And I agree with you. I feel like if they wanted to honor Bray, just have him be like a rotunda. Have him use his name and then just be a wrestler. Because he's trying to do what Bray wanted to do. But no offense to Bo Dallas. I don't think he is. He's not as creative.
Bo Dallas is great in ring. Bray Wyatt was mid in ring. I said it. Bray Wyatt was a creative mastermind. Bo Dallas is not. That's why, as a team in NXT or Florida Championship Wrestling, they work together so well. I just don't understand either why, if you want to honor him and you've already got Rowan and Strowman, why not just have a new quote-unquote Wyatt family and spin some lore about him being, because he's really Bray Wyatt's brother, right? So it wouldn't be that hard to spin it. And he can sound like him. He can cut a promo. With Triple H there, he can help it. They fucked up with Uncle Howdy and the Wyatt Six by not capitalizing on it when they had everyone in the crowd. And I think by waiting this long, people are gonna pop it first, but fans just they can't wait for stories to develop. So if they're instantly not in a big feud, they're instantly not in the heavyweight title picture, they're instantly not winning every match. Oh, they're getting buried. Oh. It's just like Ricochet leaving. Oh, he got buried his whole career. I'm so glad he's leaving. Didn't he have the U.S. title? Is that really getting buried if you're given a title?
Well, Ricochet, like we
got-
talked about earlier about people that don't have charisma. Ricochet is a perfect example. Yeah, dude, he's great in the ring, but he's as interesting as grass growing.
I've never understood that with fans either. Where unless you're doing exactly what they want, you're getting buried. Like, how much longer is LA Knight gonna have until fans start chanting that he's getting buried? So if the U.S. title means nothing, right, and Ricochet got buried for that, does that mean Logan Paul is getting buried?
No, Logan Paul should drop the U.S. title because he's not defending it enough.
I just don't understand this idea of a burial. And I hate that people know insider terms. And I know that we use them and we talk about them. But it's not a burial. Like, burying is where you lose every single week. Ricochet had a positive win-loss record leaving WWE. You can't have a positive win-loss record and it be called a burial.
Yeah.
That's just the issue. Fans don't let things develop, and if it's not exactly what they want, they piss and moan and piss and moan. Like, how good would Cody Rhodes' WrestleMania win have been if he would have already beaten Roman? Or if Sami Zayn would have beaten Roman? Or if Jey Uso would have beaten Roman? It wouldn't have mattered. It made it that much sweeter. But I'm sure everyone that said that, all these other things needed to happen, they erased what they said, they deleted what they said, and now Cody's boring to them. And I've said it before, Daniel Bryan said it, wrestling fans are fickle, they waffle all the time, and they piss me off. Which is why at a lot of wrestling events, I will not wear a wrestling shirt. Or if I know a wrestling event's in town, I will not wear a wrestling shirt because I don't want to be talked to about it.
I just don't like talking to other people about wrestling in public.
Yeah, like another big one that as great newscaster Peter Griffin once said, grinds my gears, is Chris Jericho receiving all this hate. Like, oh, he's fat. Yeah, he's fat, but he's still 80% better than 80% of the rosters.
And 80% of the fans calling him fat are probably fatter than him.
And then, granted, I hated the Jericho Appreciation Society. I didn't think that stuck. I was not a fan. But the Inner Circle was great. His stuff with MJF, where he had to go through the trials, that was great. Him being the AEW champion and starting... it was a terrific decision by AEW. And now this Under the Learning Tree, I can't get enough of it. I still stand by my theory that he's doing it to mock either Edge or Cena. Because you always hear in these interviews how Cena takes the young talent under the learning tree, and he helps the young talent, but then he pretty much fucking squashes them. Or Edge, ooh, I'm taking him under the learning tree, I'm helping him out, and then beats him. I think Jericho's doing it tongue-in-cheek to make fun of all the veterans that say that. Because, I mean, Bubba Ray says it all the time. So I do, especially because it's his close friends. I think he's doing it to mock him, but he does it so well. I love his new theme where it starts with him, I'm the learning tree. And then he calls the FTW title the For the World Championship. It just, and his big smile on his face. This man can get anything over. He got a clipboard over. He's gotten a scarf over. He made his finishing move an elbow. And he made it one of the more devastating finishers in AEW. Not a diving elbow, a spinning elbow. The man made a sparkly jacket over. The man has had great matches with people, just everyone. I don't think Chris Jericho is capable of having. They might not all be 5-star matches. Don't get me wrong, since fans can't see the difference between no stars and 5 stars. They're not all 5, but I don't think he's had a bad match. Even at his age, even at his weight, even whatever you want to say. Worst match of his life was when his wife came home on January 6th, and they had to come up with a plan. But yeah, I don't get the hate for Jericho.
Me either. I don't know. Because I can
He
kind of
constantly
get it.
reinvents himself.
I will give him credit for that because when his character does get kind of stale and he does kind of feel like the fans are starting to turn on him, he'll adapt and change.
Yeah.
And make kind of fresh, like this low entry character. I'll give him credit. It's pretty creative.
If you were to read
position he was in earlier.
If you were to read what the learning tree character is, you'd read it and you go, "This is kind of stupid." But as you watch it on TV, like we just saw a clip before this where it had Big Bill and his nickname was a tree related.
I already forgot.
Like because of how tall he was. Like I think maybe the redwood, the big redwood.
Yeah.
But I just love it because Jericho dives all in on it. You will never hear me say anything bad about his in-ring work or about his characters. He knows what to do, and that's why he's been at the top of the game for as long as we've been alive.
Want to speak about somebody getting buried real quick?
Yeah.
Because I think you can still see my screen. On
Yep.
Cage Match, they have the wins and loss records for everybody. Well, I wish you came here to look at Ricochet's to see if he was actually had a his record was. In the year 2024, Shinsuke Nakamura has wrestled 40 matches. He is 1-39 in 2024.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what they're doing with him. Like, that is a burial.
You're not talking about getting buried.
And it's weird because Shinsuke goes through these stages, right? Where he'll be in the main event. And he'll be really hot. And then something happens and he just loses. And this has happened, 3 or 4 times since he's been with WWE?
Yeah. It's definitely ebb and flows here. R-Truth coming in, the 5th most wins on the year, 25. He's 25-6.
That's crazy.
Cody Rhodes, 46-2. Crazy. What a crazy.
You want to know my last? I don't even think it's a hot take. I just think this guy's a fucking idiot. I don't know if you remember. Do you remember Stevie Richards?
Yeah.
ECW guy. My favorite thing he did on Sunday Night Heat was he would do the little gimmick where he'd act like he was going to hit someone with a chair and it'd bounce off the ring rope and hit himself in the head. He was with the BWO. He's with the Flock. I mean, he's a good mid-card guy. He's got this YouTube channel where he's Dr. Stevie because he's got some sort of, I don't know if he does chiropractic or what. But recently he said that, and I forget the exact quote, but Paul Heyman needs to be sent to the same rehab center they sent Yokozuna because Yokozuna was so overweight. Yokozuna was 600 pounds. I'm sorry, yeah, Paul Heyman might not be in the best shape, but he's not morbidly obese. The man is also in his 50s, and he doesn't constantly do athletic, like wrestling or anything like that. Yokozuna was in the ring, so they were worried his heart was going to explode. And Yokozuna was also like in his 20s or 30s. This take, Dr. Stevie's an idiot, alright? I don't understand. I think that's my one big complaint with YouTube is all these former wrestlers come out and they think that they know it all. Stevie Richards, Brooklyn Brawler, Maven, like Yeah, you had some good stuff. You might have some insight, but get the fuck out of here. Paul Heyman is to be sent to the same rehab facility. Idiot.
Moron.
But I think the little list we made, I think that about covers it for this hate episode.
Yeah. Since you won't let me talk about the one thing I wanted to talk about.
Fine. Talk about the Pooh Festival.
Yeah. So it's come to my attention.
This better tie into wrestling.
They probably won't. There's a festival over in the great country of India. Over there, their religion. What's their religion? Buddhism. Does that sound right?
Hinduism.
Hinduism.
Aren't they Hindu? Yeah. I could be wrong, but
I don't want to. I don't want to insult anybody over in India. Let me see. Hindu, 72%.
Yeah.
So they're Hindu. Okay. Nothing wrong with that. I think in Hinduism, the cow is a sacred creature. I believe.
we're not talking Vicky Guerrero.
No. Well, okay. I want to make a joke, but I have to explain what I'm bringing this up for. There's a festival over there where people, grown men, will get into giant piles. Not just like a little bit, not like a little pool. Like it's in the streets. It's like a whole thing, like meters deep of cow shit, and then they throw it at each other. Like I showed Logan a video. This guy had it in a giant ball, maybe like 2 feet round, and just bam, smashed this guy over the head with it, and it broke apart and crumpled all down. They have it. They're smeared it on themselves. They're putting it all over their face. And they're giving an interview like, I don't think I'm gonna get sick. We've already been through coronavirus and all this other stuff, so I ain't getting those diseases from the poo shit. They're eating it. This one doctor was eating the cow shit and drinking the pit in the cow urine.
Yeah. This was vile.
If we were talking about Vicky Guerrero, our good pal, the Rizzler, he probably would love to participate in the Vicky Guerrero Poo Festival.
What I was gonna say is, I know that
Vicky Guerrero like that.
Yes.
Yeah.
I know that different cultures, different religions have different things that they do. They might not all seem normal. Like, what is normal to us may not be normal to someone else. But this is just.
Okay, I'll read you the Wikipedia article. It's a small Wikipedia article. All right, it's called Goraba. It's a festival or ritual in India of splashing cow dung, which is cow manure, on each other.
Yep.
This festival is celebrated the day after the Wali's Bali Padamiyami in the small village of Guamadapura in Karnataka, India. So whenever that is, when's the festival? When does this festival take place?
I couldn't tell you.
It's the 1st or the 16th day of the Hindu month.
Do you think Vince McMahon watches these videos?
This is probably
since he loves poop so much.
Let me see. Can I figure out when the next Goraba festival is? Goraba festival.
Yeah, it blows my mind, and then he's not exaggerating. The doctor drank the piss and said that it helped with like internal digestion and it helped with diseases, which is crazy to me because there'll be people that like live near us that have like chickens and stuff, and that's fine. You have your chickens, and I enjoy a good fried chicken breast. I'm not gonna touch the chicken because I know of all the diseases and like the bird flu, and as I'm saying this, I'm like wringing my hands like I'm washing them. You could not pay me enough to get in a street full of shit and throw it at people and have them throw it at me. I would vomit. That'd probably be disrespectful to them. But on that note, let me ask you this. We're doing a Things We Hate episode. How does this tie into anything wrestling or anything that you hate?
I'd rather participate in this and then watch another Jeff Hardy match, maybe? I don't know.
So what you're telling me is you talked about the Pooh Festival.
Yeah.
That doesn't even pertain to pro wrestling.
Well, they kind of do wrestling moves in here. Like I just pulled up another video of it. All right, they're all shirtless. They're all just standing in line. Now they're in the street, and these guys are making big old piles. They're kind of doing like when they jump off the top rope. What's that move called? Like a
Double axe handle.
Yeah, they do like a double axe handle with the cow poop. And
All right.
I think that's
normally you have to.
I feel like
you have to stop.
I think they're kind
Normally, you have to stop the
personal.
train.
Oh God.
But yeah, normally you have to stop the train. I'm going to be the conductor on this one, and I think this is a good spot to end it.
Subscribe for
always,
more Indian Pooh Festival videos.
Yeah, as always, our X, our Facebook, our Instagram, our TikTok. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you follow. Make sure you like anything you're interested in, so that way we know to keep putting out that type of content. We are less than 100, and I think it's less than 125 now, from 500 subscribers on YouTube, which then puts us in the first tier of partnership. So if you're listening to this, or you found this from one of our reels or one of our shorts, make sure you give us a follow or subscribe, so that way we can get to that next tier. And I know that we do have some future content kind of in the works. We talked about the Retromania review and some gameplay. I know, to kind of piggyback off of the Woman and Miss Elizabeth video, we will be doing a Luna Vachon and Sherry Martel one. And eventually, we will have a video on the Ultimate Diva, Sunny.
Hey, no.
And then the PWP Express will continue traveling. It will, of course, be at the really cool Comic-Con. And keep an eye out to our socials, because maybe there's a chance to see us at another convention or two throughout the year.